Is it morally ethical to use social media to influence? I believe it is. Social media, number one, is an excellent forum. Paul used it when he was speaking with the Athenians on Mars Hill, as shared in Acts 17, verses 22 through 34. After walking around and looking at the shrines they had to the different gods, he noticed they had one to an unnamed god. So he stood in the midst of the Athenians and said, I observe you are very religious in all respects. He had listened to them, he asked them questions, he shared, and he listened, and he was gracious. He's a great example. So how should we then live ethically when we're using social media to influence others? Colossians 4 verses 5 through 6 states, conduct yourself with wisdom toward outsiders. Wisdom means doing your background research. Make the most of the opportunity. Let your speech always be with grace, as though seasoned with salt, so that you will know how you should respond to each person. And that's never out of animosity. Social media interaction today is something very different than what's described in Colossians and in Acts. Thomas L. Friedman, the New York Times op-ed columnist, shares the following 5 points on social media interaction that are occurring today, and they're not positive. Number 1, we just don't know how to deal with rumors. Everything posted on the internet tends to be believed and then spread to everyone else, possibly millions. So when you see that post that is believable and you don't do your research, just don't share it. Number 2, we only communicate with like-minded individuals and we block the others. When you're only communicating with like-minded individuals, it can become one-sided. When you're blocking others instead of listening to what others have to say, you can create animosity as well. Number 3, angry mobs and trolls are common, but remember, they are real people. Even though they're real people that have animosity, they're real people. Respond kindly or not at all, and don't jump into the fray. Number 4, opinions don't change in sound bites, and jumping to conclusions is common. Don't jump to conclusions based on 140 characters you've read on Twitter. You won't change anybody's opinion by berating. And number 5, don't favor broadcast over engagement. Broadcast is loud and obnoxious. Engagement is not. We're to represent Christ well if we want to be morally ethical in influencing others on social media. Understand there are those who will hate the truth, but don't beat them up with words. Learn from his example. So is it morally ethical to influence others through social media? Yes, if your message is shared based on engagement, which only occurs through listening and asking questions, not berating others for not siding with your point of view.